I really need to straighten this mess out. What do you think? This video is for a WPL C-14 kit. Ordered it quite a while back and been gathering parts because I had something I wanted to do in particular, and finally got the frame painted, so I got it out to start on it. I've never built one before. Got the parts all laid out, got to looking at the directions, and the first thing it tells me to do pretty much is to put the shocks together. And lo and behold, my kit had no springs. So I discovered a little hack. You can see that. Bic. Can't get it to focus in on it, but just El Cheapo disposable Bic pins. The springs in those are all pretty much identical, and they worked out pretty good. So overnight I've got this thing built. Of course, I'm gonna do a bunch of painting and upgrading, so I'll be tearing it back apart, and I don't have the electronics where I want them, but there it is. And the reason I wanted to build one of these is twofold. I wanted to see if I could in fact use the motor, transmission, and transfer case that's designed for the 12th scales, like D90 and a few others. And I got it up in there. Had to do the frame extension, turn it upside down. Did a whole bunch of cutting and fabricating and changing and rearranging, but got it in there flush with the frame, so it is not protruding whatsoever for ground clearance, and got the full interior in it. Even got a little dude in there. Also wanted to make it four-wheel steer. Managed to make that happen. I had issues with the four-wheel steering. Tried several different rear ends, metal gears, different gear ratios, and did not like the way it acted. So ended up putting a JJRC limited slip differential in the rear, and a WPL standard plastic one that came with my B24, the metal gears. Had to redo that JJRC rear end, cut off the original drive shaft, and file down the splines, and actually put a bearing in front of the drive shaft, and came in here and changed the way it mounts. Actually put a spacer in between, and it's hard to see, in between the truss and the shock mount and the rear end, to give it more clearance and more stability, because the doghouse on these things, bulkhead, differential cover, whatever you want to call it, is just so much bigger than the WPL. I had to do something to space it out, but the big springs worked out pretty good. It's a little stiff. Went in and cut the knobs out of these tires, every other one. These are not the kit tires, they're the more stout tires. Got the weights in them. Got the wheels for the C-34 and C-44 trucks. I didn't like the tires that came with those on this truck. I mean, they're decent, but they are just so soft. impossible to keep on the rim. It would give me a little bit more ground clearance, but I'm not a fan of the street tread. These here with the knobs cut out, they just give it so much bite. But the reason I wanted to build this truck is I already had electronics laying around. My hobby porter that I'm using on the wrecker back there, the receivers for it are only $10, and it can be bound to 7 different models. So anyway, truck runs well. Got the 4-wheel steer, and on this hobby porter, just flip channel 3, changes it to regular steer, hit it again, rear steer, hit it again, crab crawl, which I kind of like that. It's hard to get used to, but and then hit it one more time and it goes back to 4 steer, which I really like. Let me show you the tight turn radius on this thing with the 4-wheel steering and the limited slip differential. This thing will turn in 18 inches. And that's wide open with a 360 motor and a 2S LiPo. That's how deep the gear reduction is on this thing. It ought to crawl really well. We got some really nasty weather, so I'm not getting out in it. And I say I'm not getting out in it. I'd love to take this thing out in it, but I plan on painting it, and I don't want to get it all covered in mud and then have to clean it up just to paint it. So I'll be tearing it apart 2 or 3 more times, doing the painting and the body work and finishing out the electronics and putting lights on it and everything else. But anyway, just wanted to get a video up, show a little bit of what I've been doing, and let everybody see some of the things you can do with a very inexpensive model. I mean, all told, electronics and everything, I've got under $100 in this thing right now. So up to this point, all I've built's the 6x6 Army trucks, and finally decided to do a B24 for the 4x4, and I've had so much fun with it, I just had to get this thing out and see if I can make it work. So hope everybody enjoyed. Hope everybody has a happy new year. Have a great day.